are we doing? Thank you. Thanks for coming. So first of all, I'm going to start off with my land acknowledgements. The city of Hamilton is situated on the traditional territories of Erie, Neutral, Haudenosaunee, Huron, Bandit, and Mississaugas. This land is covered by the dish with one spoon warm home belt covenant, which was an agreement between the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabeg to share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes. We further acknowledge that this land is covered by between the lakes purchased 1792 between the Crown and Mississauga of the Credit First Nation. Today, the city of Hamilton is home to many indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we recognize that we must do more to learn about the rich history of this land so that we can better understand our roles as the residents, neighbors, partners, and caretakers. All right. So, what's up, Hamilton, now? Everybody good? That's great. My name is Aslam Rana. I'm a Liberal Party candidate from this beautiful riding. I did Master in Civil Engineering from Toronto Metropolitan University, and I have been working for many years on various infrastructures, subway, and LRT projects. I want to bring those expertise in this beautiful riding. By the way, how many engineers are in here? Yay! Thank you. Hamilton deserves a government that builds, not just talks, a government that shows up, not just tweets, and a leader who is ready to roll up his sleeves and get to work for you. And the leader is Mark Carney. The leader is Mark Carney. 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 Under Mark's leadership, we are going to tackle the housing crisis. We are going to invest in a real infrastructure. We are going to stand up for the Hamilton workers and the businesses and bring back fairness and opportunity to every corner of this beautiful city and this beautiful riding.
Yes.
Yes, this is a time. This election should not just be about red, blue, or orange. Do you think orange is an option on the table? No, not at all. So this election is not just for the color. This is about the results. And with my experience of being a civil engineer, I'm ready to deliver for Hamilton Center. Yes. Now, it's my absolute honor to welcome a fierce advocate, a champion for this city, and your incredible MP for Hamilton Mountain, Lisa Hepfner.
Thank you, Aslam. Hello, Hamilton. So good to see this room packed to the gills. You know, this is the second election for me, and the candidates behind me and I have been pounding the pavement for weeks now, spending hours talking to people, knocking on doors, and the mood is definitely different this time around. Yeah. People are starting to feel confident. People in Hamilton are starting to have hope again. We have calm, measured, brilliant, a globally respected economist as our leader in Mark Carney, and this is what Canada needs right now. Think about it. We're at a time of global turmoil, and at the same time, Canadians are realizing we can be the next world leaders. We can be at the top, calm, measured, steady, smart. We can seize the day. And Hamilton in Canada, front and center, right? The steel industry, ramping it up, fighting those tariffs, producing that green steel that's going to be in high demand all around the world, doubling the construction of our homes, and giving our tradespeople the tools they need to do their jobs and earn a proper living, and bringing in more apprentices to ensure and secure the next generation of builders. These are the ideas we need for a strong Canada, and we're getting them from our strong, capable leader. We were talking, those of us who have been elected before, we are ready to get back to Ottawa. We are ready to take on those tariffs. We are ready to get back to work. So now, make sure you vote on or before April 28th. Make sure your friends and family vote. And now, please join me in giving a huge round of applause to our Prime Minister, Mark Carney.
All right. There you go. All right. Bravo. Thank you very much, Lisa. Thank you, Aslam. Thank you. Thank you, Hamilton. Thank you for braving the... God, is it not the 10th of April? Can I just check? There's like 3 feet of snow in Ottawa. There's snow in here. But listen, thank you for braving coming in here. I'd like to thank our hosts also for enforcing the fire code. A few hundred people outside, but it's fair. And thank you again to all our amazing candidates from Hamilton, Niagara Region for working hard day and night out there relentlessly looking to earn your trust, your vote, so they can go to Ottawa, fight for this region, fight for Canada. That's right. And it's great to be in this city that has been putting literally the backbone into our buildings, our bridges, our rails, our hydro towers across Canada, across the world for more than a century. The city that is home to the women and men who have literally built Canada into what it is today. And, you know, I've spent in the last few weeks, I've been meeting with the building trades, the crane operators, the iron workers across Canada. And I've been sharing our plans, and Lisa was referring to some of this. I've been sharing our plans not just to create tens of thousands of jobs, but tens of thousands of careers in the skilled trades. Yeah. And more broadly, we're here in Hamilton because we need this city, but your energy, your ingenuity, and your drive to build Canada strong. So I want to know, I have a question. Who is ready? Who is ready? Who is ready? Who is ready to stand up for Canada with me? We all need to be ready. And who here is ready to help the Liberal Party win the most consequential election in our lifetime? Look, it's consequential for a number of reasons. The first is obvious. President Trump, yeah, I'm afraid. I've got to talk about it. I have to talk about it. Okay, we can't just ignore him. It's funny. I'm going to tell you a story. I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to get in trouble for later. Paul Martin, great Paul Martin. Great Paul Martin. Deep roots around here. Great Paul Martin used to have this thing where he would say, setting that aside. And it'd be like, you know, setting gravity aside. And you say, no, Prime Minister, we can't just. So it's like setting President Trump aside. No, we can't do that. We have to deal with it. President Trump's trade war has literally ruptured the global economy. And the system of trade that was anchored on the United States, a system that we in Canada had relied upon since really the end of the Second World War, a system that, while it wasn't perfect, had helped deliver prosperity to our country for decades. That system is over. And I'm afraid our... Let's get it right. Look. Thank you. You know what? You know what? Thank you. You know what? Thank you. What thank you. Thank you. I can do it. I gotta do it. We're gonna do it. We can do it. That's the question for the next 2.5 weeks. Stewing. Thank you. Because we need to do it because. Come on. You know what? One of the things that is it's interesting. Earlier today, I'll get back to Trump and trade and everything, because we can't avoid it. But earlier today, we announced a series of measures on crime. And we announced a series of measures with respect to online harm and other factors. And one of the observations we had, one of the issues we're dealing with, there's many serious issues that we're dealing with respect to crimes of violence, conjugal violence, drugs, fentanyl, others. But one of them is with respect to really just the sea of misogyny, anti-Semitism, hatred, conspiracy theories, this sort of pollution that's online that washes over our virtual borders from the United States. And that's a mild version of that. That's fine. I can take the conspiracy theory and all that. But the more serious things is when it affects how people behave in our society. When Canadians are threatened going to their community centers or their places of worship or their schools, or God forbid, when it affects our children. So my government, if we are elected, will be taking action on those American giants that come across. Now, our border with the United States is changing. Period. I'm back on Trump, I'm afraid. He won't go away. He will not go away. And that steadily deepening integration with the United States, that is also over. And, this is a tragedy. We didn't ask for this. It's a tragedy, but it's a new reality. And the question is, how do we respond as a nation? We're responding with purpose and with force. And our approach is simple. We're fighting, we are protecting, and we are building. Okay. We are fighting unjustified U.S. tariffs, including those on steel and autos with counter tariffs of our own. And those are designed to cause maximum pain in the United States, but have only a minimal impact here in Canada. We are protecting our workers and businesses because we're using every dollar that we collect from those retaliatory tariffs, and we use it to protect our workers. But above all, what we are doing is we are building Canada strong. And that will require, building Canada strong, that's going to require big changes. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But we're ready for those changes. I'm ready for those changes. And I come to you not as a career politician, but as a pragmatist. Yeah. So when I see something that's not working, I change it. And that's exactly what we did during my first week as Prime Minister. We saw that homes have become too expensive, and there's much that we need to do to change that for younger Canadians. But the first thing to do was to cut taxes on them. The second thing we did was to take an increase in what's called the capital gains tax that was going to stifle our builders and our innovators, so we reversed that. The next one you probably noticed. The consumer carbon tax was too divisive. Yeah, too divisive. So we eliminated it on day one. Came into effect last week. You see it at the pump. Because if something's not working, we're going to change it, and if something is working, we are going to double down on it. Yeah. Nous avons, par exemple, nous avons élargi l'accès au régime canadien de soins dentaires pour que 5 millions de Canadiens de plus puissent en bénéficier. We've expanded Canadian dental care to an additional 5 million Canadians. Pierre Poilievre would get rid of it. Nous avons renforcé nos relations commerciales avec l'Union européenne pour que notre économie soit moins dépendante aux États-Unis. De rien. Nous avons conclu une entente militaire avec l'Australie et renforcé notre collaboration militaire avec la France et le Royaume-Uni. Yes, we have expanded our trade and our security partnerships with reliable allies in Europe. Et nous accélérons le développement de projets d'infrastructures majeurs et faisons du Canada une superpuissance des énergies vertes et traditionnelles. We'll be an energy superpower. Et finalement, nous mettons fin au dédoublement des réglementations. We know that we now need to do as a country things that we previously thought were impossible, and we need to do them at speeds that we haven't seen in generations. So we need a new approach to getting things done. So for big infrastructure projects, that starts with something simple. One project, one review, one level of government. And we know that we need one Canadian economy, not 13. So we sat down in the first week as I was Prime Minister. We agreed with all the premiers to eliminate barriers to trade and labor mobility inside our country. And you know, I thought to myself after that meeting, when was the last time the provinces agreed on anything? Except that they hate the federal government. They still hate the federal government, but they agreed on this. And what the federal government is going to do, because if you make an agreement like that, okay, that's fine. It's a nice meeting, there's a press conference, okay, we're going to do this. But you have to follow through. You have to follow through. So the commitment of our government is that we will do our part. We will table legislation by July 1st to eliminate the federal barriers. We will have free trade in Canada by Canada Day. So in just 9 days, in government, we did more than Pierre Poilievre has imagined in all his decades in politics. Yeah. And that's possibly because it's not clear he has an imagination and doesn't just mimic Donald Trump. So then we began our campaign on day one. On day one. On day one. Thank you. On day one. On day one. You focus on, you know, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know, on day one, we announced a middle-class tax cut. Thank you. Thank you. All right. On a d'énergie ici. Aslam. Let's see. Thank you. I don't think so. Okay, so middle class tax cut, $825 per year for your family. Then the world is a more dangerous and divided place. So what we did 2 weeks ago was to release a clear plan. The point has been made. We released our plan. I'd like to make a few points. So people can make a judgment. Yeah. Thank you. Because one of the core responsibility of government is to secure the safety of Canadians. And we need to build our armed forces to keep our nation safe. So we released a plan to do exactly that, including in the Arctic. The next day, we went to Windsor and unveiled our strategy for a more resilient made-in-Canada auto sector and took vital steps to protect our auto workers during this period of strike. We went to Montreal the next day and set out a plan and a strategy to invest in new trade infrastructure, including our ports, so we can diversify our trade away from the United States. And as I said a moment ago, we don't just intend to build this country, we're building it with Canadian workers. So on the weekend, we unveiled measures to cover the cost of apprenticeships at all levels, individually, through the unions, through the post-secondary education, to literally create hundreds of thousands of careers in the skilled trades. And if there's a message I want younger Canadians to hear, is that we are going to be building this country for the next quarter century. Yeah, and we need you to do that. Part of that is an ambitious strategy to double the pace of home construction to 500,000 new homes per year. And in the process, do it smart. Create an entirely new made-in-Canada industry, modular and mass timber homes. Yeah. Earlier this week, we announced a series of measures to protect the incomes of seniors during this market turbulence. Yeah. And a bold new strategy to protect our natural heritage, our land, our water, our biodiversity. Yeah. And today, with Bill Blair, I announced a series of measures to build safe, secure, and healthy communities across Canada, stem the tide of illegal guns coming across the border in Niagara and elsewhere. Because we don't need the online hate from the United States. We don't need their weapons. We don't want their weapons. So we have accomplished a lot in just under 4 weeks, and the question is, just think of what we could do together if the Liberal Party gets a strong, positive mandate from Canadians. And we need that mandate. We need that mandate because Canada is facing the most significant crisis of our lifetime. President Trump, he's clear about his strategy. His strategy is to break us so that America can own us. You know, we are over as a country, we are over the shock of the betrayal. But we should never forget the lessons. Never forget the lessons. That's right. That's right. We have to look out. We have to look out for ourselves. We have to look out for ourselves, and we have to take care of each other. We didn't ask for this fight. We didn't ask for this fight, but Canadians are always ready when someone else drops the gloves. Elbows up, elbows up. And in this trade war, just like in hockey, we will win. The, I, thank you. Like many of you, hockey played a big part in my life. I grew up with the values I learned on the ice, values I learned at the kitchen table and in the classroom in Alberta. My parents were teachers. They stressed the importance of working hard, exactly. They stressed the importance of community and caring for others. My coaches taught me to play hard, to be ambitious, and to be humble, which is a very Canadian combination. I kept those values close to me when I was managing crises here in Canada and around the world. And I remembered them when I was working with others to build strong economies. And now I'm drawing on them. I'm drawing on them to stand up to Donald Trump and to build the strongest economy in the G7, an economy that works for everyone. And this idea of community and helping each other, this is something Pierre Poilievre doesn't get. I have seen this movie before around the world. It's a type of lifelong politician. You have to be a lifelong politician to do this, to worship at the altar of the free market, despite never having actually worked in the private sector or made a payroll. Yeah. And this reflex, pardon me, a reflex is always to cut, it's to destroy. But this is not the time, this really isn't the time for divisive and angry politics. Negativity isn't going to win us a trade war. Negativity won't pay the rent or the mortgage. It won't bring down the price of groceries. It won't make Canada strong. We will win this battle if we are strong and united. Et nous pouvons nous disputer au sujet de la politique. Nous pouvons disputer à propos de hockey. On peut être même un fan des Oilers ici à Hamilton. C'est un pays libre. Mais quand il s'agit du Canada, nous sommes tous de même côté. Alors, en choisissant d'être fort en Canada. Merci, madame. Merci, madame. En Canada, fort. Now, what do the Americans want? They want our strength. They want our resources. They want our water. They want our land. They want our industrial strength. They want our country. But this will never happen because Canada is not America. America is a melting pot. Canada, look at this room. Canada is a mosaic. We are all Canadians. We are all distinct. In America, healthcare is a big business. In Canada, it is a right. Aux États-Unis, on ne reconnaît pas les différences. On ne reconnaît pas les peuples autochtones. Et il n'y aura jamais de droit pour la langue française. Les États-Unis ne sont pas le Canada. Et le Canada n'en fera jamais partie des États-Unis. Jamais. Okay. So what do we do? Well, in my experience, the most important thing in a crisis is to distinguish between what you can change and what you can't. And it's not a big insight, but I think after all this time, we cannot change Donald Trump. Nous devons comprendre ce que nous pouvons et devons changer. Nous sommes maîtres chez nous. Nous pouvons contrôler notre destin économique. We are masters at home. We can control our economic destiny with the right plan. A plan that puts more money in your pocket. A plan where the government spends less so Canada can invest more. A plan that makes big polluters pay instead of hard-working Canadians. A plan that builds an energy superpower and builds trade corridors and relationships with reliable partners. Look, if the United States doesn't want to lead anymore, Canada will. We will lead. We will build. We are ready. We are ready. Canada is ready to build a coalition of like-minded countries who share our values, who believe in international cooperation, who believe in the open exchange of goods, services, and ideas. Now, I've talked a lot about how we build Canada strong, how we build a strong economy, but let me, before I finish, say why we as Liberals are so passionate about building a strong economy. Yes, because it creates good, high-paying jobs today and better futures for our children. But ultimately, it's because we care about people. It's because of that value of community. We know we're all in this together. C'est pourquoi notre gouvernement a créé des places en garderie à $10 par jour pour les familles canadiennes. That's why we created $10 a day dental. Et c'est pourquoi nous avons créé des programmes pour les soins dentaires, l'assurance médicaments. That's why we created pharmacare and dental care. Look, I know, just finish by reflecting something I think we all feel. I certainly feel it. These are difficult times. They are unsettling times. This has been weighing on us. And as an example that stays with me, a couple weeks ago, near Halton Hills, I met a teacher, and she had given her 9- and 10-year-old students a task to describe their dream for Canada. And so some of the children, and she gave me the results of this, some of the children wrote of a country free of poverty. Some of them dreamt of clean air, clean water, others of a place where everyone enjoyed equal rights, dignity, and respect. These are 10-year-old children write this. It's the right things. These children were brought up, these children are being brought up right, they're being taught well. But what surprised me, what hit me, was that many of these kids wrote about tariffs and threats to our sovereignty. Those are words I didn't know at that age. I hadn't met those words when I was 9 and 10. And I'll quote one student, its representative, and they said, "I dream of a safe, a kind, and a clean Canada. A Canada," and this is what got me, "a Canada that is not the United States." So, we share, I think this room, I certainly, those behind me, we share this belief, this sentiment, but also that our children should be able to dream about a positive future for our country, not worry about an economic crisis. So don't worry. We can give our children the future that they deserve. Not because it will be easy, but because it is right. We in this country, as Canadians, can give ourselves far, far more than any foreign government, including the United States, can ever take away from us. That's why. That's why I'm standing before you tonight. Because Canada has given me everything. My family, my education, my values. And in return, I'm ready to give everything to Canada. So let's send a great group of Hamilton and Niagara Liberals to Ottawa to join me. Let's all build Canada strong. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Vive le Canada.